moving from your cricket to your fitness. I mean, you are this year the fitness icon of the year for IWN, and so many accolades you won. And that's another very powerful, space that is now, I think, inspiring generations to, of course, take care of the physical part of health. But as we all know, that the mental strength is so related, right? If you're mentally strong, you'll be able to, that's only then can you really get a physical health. So how have these two played out in your life? Your physical health, your fitness, your mental health, have all of them actually come together the way you wanted it, or they're still falling into place?
I think everything is a work in progress. We are a work in progress. So when it comes to the physical health part of it, don't judge me if I tell you how it all started.
Please do. Now I want to know.
No, because when I did cricket, which was in 2003, which is 21 years ago, people just thought I was sporty. I was a presenter with cricket, but I was not by any means like I'm fitter now than I was 20 years ago, let's say. So it was in 2008, I was invited to be a part of a show called Khatron Ke Khiladi, Fear Factor, with Akshay Kumar hosting it, and it was the long version, 13-day version of it. And I said, if I'm going to be on national television, I want to be a strong contender, and I want to be a strong contender in the show, and I want to look good doing it. So that's how from the time I signed, that's the first time I took a gym membership, which I used regularly. And I got a trainer to help train me, and I didn't win. I didn't win Khatron Ke Khiladi. I reached the 10th day out of 13, which was nice. Yeah. But what that gave me was the gift of fitness, activity, exercise, looking after my physical health. So even when I was in South Africa shooting the show, we do 2 stunts in the day, shoot 2 stunts in the day, and then come home and I'd go for a run after that because I was really into it. I even broke my foot a few weeks later. And the first thought that crossed my mind was, what's going to happen to my work? It was like, what's going to happen to my exercise? So it became a part of my life. And I think with fitness, if you want to be fit and strong and healthy, you've got to do something that you can do on a sustainable level, that you can do for a long period. Going to the gym twice a week and then doing whatever else is not going to work. You've got to find some way to do activity or perform some kind of physical activity 4 or 5 times a week at least. So find something that's sustainable. So if you've never gone to a gym, don't start with the gym because it's not going to happen. You're not going to make it to the gym 5 days a week. So start with walking twice a week, something else twice a week. So you keep that activity going and then build on that. So be it physical fitness or generally health, when you're looking at a diet also, it's got to be something that's sustainable. If you're going to say, I'm going to eat really healthy Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, eat ice cream every day, it's not going to work out. So either way, with physical health, and when you're on a journey of wellness, you've got to find something that's sustainable. And when you talk of mental health, you can have a 6-pack and you could be super fit and you could be running a marathon, but if you're not okay here, not in a good space mentally and emotionally, none of it counts for anything. So first there was a time whenever I'd be in a little bit of a negative situation, I'd go for a run and things would feel better. And then when you feel negative or angry or in a negative space for a period of time, you got to do something about it, address it. Speak to someone, go to a counselor, deal with it, do what needs to be, do the work. So like I said, I had anger issues. I was a very angry person. I'd walk onto a set with a scowl on my face. And I can say I'm not that anymore. Because I identified something that needed some work.
You were able to work on it.
So with the physical fitness as well, I got onto a journey and I found a space which I can easily do. I make exercise a part of my life activity every day. So it's got to be something that's sustainable. And even with mental health, and when you're not feeling good emotionally, that's not to say I'm always happy and always, in a positive state of mind. There are times when I'm not in a good state of mind. I will address it. I will do something about it. I'll speak to someone about it. I'll turn to someone who can give me a perspective, a mirror, saying you are only looking at it through this lens. You need to look at it from this perspective as well. So I think you've got to firstly identify what your problem is when it comes to the mental health part of it. Be aware that there's something that needs work.
Because the biggest problem on mental health is acceptance, right? Firstly, understanding even people around you, and there is a stigma today in society. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the incidence of weakening mental health go up significantly post the pandemic.
Yeah, but what she's talking about is actually emotional health.
Right.
Yes.
Even emotionally we should be aware that I'm going through an issue here, not an issue here. Issue here is there, but emotionally I'm not in my best energy.
Yes, right. I want to do something about it.
Yeah.
And if it persists for more than a day or 2 or 3, I mean, we can all have a bad day.
Yeah.
We can all have maybe 2 bad days. But if you're feeling a little low for a week, then do something about it. Address it. Meet someone. Talk to someone. I must tell you, the first time I went to a psychologist, I finished the appointment and I happened to tell my mom, and she said, "Why did you go and meet why did you meet a psychologist? For what?"
That's what I said.
I said, because I was not feeling, emotionally all right. I was not feeling, but you can talk to me. I said, no, I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Go talk to your friends. I said, I wanted to talk to somebody who's equipped to help me. And now, post the pandemic, people are much more open about.
Very true. Now it's more.
Yes.
And they're open to the idea and they're ready to take help also. And that is what is needed, because then you're able to heal it in the initial stages.
Do you think the need for this has increased?
You mean to say the numbers? Yeah. Very high comparatively. Very high post-COVID. Though we can't figure out what's the connection, but yes.
So what are some of the larger things that you feel need to change? Because if society at large is feeling a lot more of this, what can we do?
Take care of it as emotional health. Why, when we are feeling low, we don't do anything about it? Because we called it normal.
In the past.
Stress normal, hurt normal, anger normal, feeling low normal, comparison normal, criticizing normal, jealousy normal. So all emotional disease, we called it as normal. So if I live in that spectrum of a lot of this, and then it's not just me, it's the air. Because society is calling it normal, not just I am calling it normal. So everybody's allowing themselves to create this lower vibrational energy. Like she said, gratitude here, then complaining here. They seem to have a problem with everything in life. So for complaining, that is also a lower energy. So we're also creating a lower vibrational energy air. That's also affecting people's mind. And so my emotional resilience will dip. And if my emotional resilience dips, and there comes a situation, I might not be able to be in my best state there. And sometimes without a situation also we are experiencing depression. So it's not there has to be a situation for it to trigger. It's just happening.
It's an extended period of time of feeling low that puts you into that.
For some people it can happen that way. Because they are not able to pinpoint that something happened. But another thing also, I feel it is the gut-mind connection.
Yeah. Also, in the
take
past,
care of the gut also. Yeah. That's also having an influence, because because we meet people who are working on gut health. So even simple things like changing of diet is helping people to overcome that depressive symptom and anxiety issue.
Yeah.
Which means heal the gut and the mind is getting better.